some Lorcana pack unboxings earlier as well. So we've been actually streaming 12 streams tonight, which I'm extremely excited about. And we are taking a look. This is kind of just a late night painting night. I figured we'd do a Saturday paint night. I'm going to do some Tyranids. I'm going to paint some Giants. We're sort of splitting the difference of both AOS projects and Warhammer projects. If you're interested to see our second Lorcana pull, or second Lorcana packs that we opened, I have a VOD of that stream on the channel, so you can check that out. But I was pretty happy. We pulled a couple of different things out of this stream. We want to say we pulled a legendary and an epic rare, so that was kind of cool. No enchanted rares, the big money cards, which it's funny how if I pulled one of those epic cards, it would like pay for all the Lorcana I've bought, but it's been expensive because the Lorcana stuff has been jacked up in price, which I am not happy about, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do some Gigante, but we are working on some Leaper Tyranids as well. We're going to wrap up a couple of different Tyranid projects. But yeah, like I said, just an overall paint night. We're just going to paint some stuff. So this is the Mantic Games Giant that is part of my Sons of Behemoth army. For anybody out there that is rocking a Sons of Behemoth army, I am doing the same. So my Sons of Behemoth are giants from all other realms. So they are working together. It's going to be pretty awesome, pretty sick, and very, very cool. So I'm just going through and starting to paint up some of the detail. Since he has a lot of detail, I'm just going to lower this music a tiny bit. Because although that I like it as ambient music, and I'm so happy I found this site, I need to give them a little plug because I am just using the site for free, but if you become a patron of theirs, you can actually download their samples, which is really cool. But I found it online and I was like, ooh. And it's just like ambient sounds and music. So I was like, ooh, this will be good for a stream. Especially for painting different epic things. Yeah, this giant has so much detail. It's not even funny. It actually works to my advantage that this was like not primed as well, because I'm just going to use it for some light color, and then I'm going to go in and do some other stuff to it so we get it nice and detailed. Do the close-up cam so you guys can see better what I'm working on. Yeah, he's got just a mountain of detail, which I'm gonna start taking care of and getting painted. I'd love to hear how your week went. Anybody out there who's watching us, what are you all up to? You know, what is on your painting table? I'm curious to see how the audience is tonight. I know it's a little bit on the later side, but I was gonna give it a shot, playing around with some different times. I don't know. I feel like maybe weekends might start to be a good time to be up and around, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. And it was so nice to see Deathslinger was with us in the afternoon. when we were opening up some Lorcana packs. I don't know if anybody out there is following the Lorcana craziness, but it's definitely a crazy collectible card game to try to collect at this moment in time. Just because everybody and their mother is trying to like get their hands on the cards. Like I've been saying as we've been opening them and doing that more, I really, really hope that people, you know, I hope the game takes off as well as it can with all of this, jacking up prices and stuff. I always get nervous when games have that in the beginning of their infancy. Like they have scalpers and collectors and everybody, and like people start to go nuts for the game like that because, you know, it just creates a different feel, especially for like, you know, somebody who's just trying to get into the game, because it's like, oh, well, I can't afford this, or it's not as accessible to me. So yeah, because it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, for people out there that might be considering it, like the average place you're gonna see is like 13 bucks a booster, 14 bucks a booster. And again, mind you, this is for the regular, just the regular set of cards, the like first set of cards that are coming out. So if you're a Magic player, like a lot of us who play Magic, you know, we're all used to, you know, like collector packs being 25 or 14 or things like that. But I don't think many Magic players are used to a regular, you know, set booster being, you know, some of these higher prices. So, you know, it, like I said, it always gives me a little bit of worry when a game has this in the beginning stages of it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. One thing we noticed today, or at least I noticed as I was pulling some of the cards, is that it looks like the value on a lot of the sites is starting to shift a little bit less. Because at the beginning, you know, every time a new set comes out, the values of the cards are a little skewed, they're a little higher. But what I'm noticing is I think that the value is starting to shift more towards the playability of the card rather than the, rather than potentially some of the other factors. So, you know, and the other thing too is that you usually know where the cards sit value-wise, or when games are in good shape with that, when the value of a card also holds, because usually that initial launch weekend, you know, everything in the set's worth a lot of big money because like people want the card. But then as the set's been out for a little bit longer, you don't see that value as big as before. So looks like it's shifted in that direction as well. But cards are still maintaining a somewhat higher value, just because it's harder to get a lot of the cards too. So it's still obviously extremely hard to get cards. Yeah, I'm not even going to tell anybody what some of the values I've seen out there are, like prices for cards. You know, that the 13-14 is pretty like generous at this point, but for other folks, it's just a lot harder, you know. It's just crazy. All right, here we go. Like I said, just interested to see what it's like on Saturdays. But I know it's a holiday weekend also, so I'm wondering if a lot of people are just not as around. But good news is we can go a little bit later tonight, so we're going to check it out. We're going to see what happens. Trying to work a little bit on this. I don't know. This giant I'm really getting into, so that's why I wanted to rework on it a little bit. So that was the not Arctic blue. That was asthmatic blue. And then I'm doing some plague bearer green. Again, I said this before when we talked about this giant. I'm really trying to riff the old fantasy color scheme for the giant. So for anybody out there that was a Warhammer Fantasy player, you'll feel right at home with what I'm doing to this giant. Because I'm definitely picking a little bit more of that color theme. For him. Because the old giant from Fantasy had like... Because he was just a big, dumb-looking, like, human giant. So he didn't look, as fierce and menacing as some of the other newer giants look. Although I've said to a lot of folks, one of my semi-pet peeves with the newer giant models from GW, which this model is actually from Mantic Games, so this is the giant that they have. And what I like about their giant, and I've said it a couple of times, is I really like their giant because cost-wise, he's a lot cheaper for when you're looking at models. But the new GW giants, which I shouldn't say new because some of them are older. They're older kits. I wasn't like a huge fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was not the biggest fan of those giants because I've said it a couple of times, but they look very. I always say it. They always look like emancipated. Like they always look like they're on their last meal. They're stringy, scrawny. So I was like, I never was like too fond of them. Because I've said it. Like for me, when I think of a giant, I think of like very more traditional fantasy giants that are like hulking, bulking, big muscled. Like creatures. And I feel like with GW, they just made them look a little bit more homeless, is usually what I say. They have a really good, like, homeless vibe to them. and I don't really have a good like full reason why GW feels that homeless giants are like good looking, but like why they like the kits to look that way. Because my thought process is, if you were, I've said this a couple of times on a few of the streams that we've been painting giants, um, and I say this a lot. If you're a giant, you don't really have a lot of competition. Like, you're gonna more than likely be able to catch your meal and um, so to me, it's like it's gonna be hard. I'm like trying to find where the wood boards are because there's like a lot of little detail in here. And I say this a lot about like non-Games Workshop models. Again, huge fan of Mantic Games, huge fan of, I say it all the time, I'm a huge fan of all their creatures, but like their sometimes the molding is a little janky on certain parts. So I'm trying to do my best to sort of see where our details, where our wood is inside there. But I think it looks pretty good. But like I was saying, what are you guys up to? What are you working on? What is in your wheelhouse of stuff? Is there anything like you're super looking forward to? I always like to hear in the comments if you guys are looking. We have I am on the Discord currently. So if you're trying to be a little bit more on the stealthy side, because you two, like I, are trying to paint, please feel free. Well, let's play that. Let's see what that looks like. Please feel free to share what you currently have going on your painting table. Or like stuff that you, like I said, stuff that you're just jonesed about. Like, I know for a lot of my 40K players out there, myself included, you know, they just released, or they should be releasing, if it was not this week, I think it's actually this week, new, the second wave of Tyranid models. They're supposed to be help you fill in those ranks from what the Leviathan box gave all of us. If you were somebody who grabbed that box, or I guess any of the starter set boxes, because they're starting to give you other stuff. I know one of the big things that they talked a lot about, actually, while we're on that subject, let me pull that up, because we can talk a little bit. We'll do kind of an in-between show. We'll do a little bit of reviewing, and we'll do a little bit of painting. I don't usually do that, but it's a solid plan. Accept cookies. All right, new and exclusive. Let's go for it. See what's on the pre-order list. There we go. All right, pre-order list, baby. Let's do it. Yeah. So yeah. So we got the Codex Tyranid book, Combat Patrol. So essentially what the Combat Patrol is pretty much what you got in the Leviathan box. The only thing that's not in the Leviathan box in that is the Screaming Killer and the, I think it's the Tyrant is the other model. The one I actually have to the side here that we're gonna finish up painting tonight. You don't get him in the box either, because Combat Patrols are usually they're trying to be a smaller box for you. The Norn Emissary, definitely picking that up. I probably should pick up Genestealers too. I didn't think of picking those up yet, but I probably should. And then the Neurolictor, I was going to grab the Neurolictor and that probably to give us two different models. Death Leaper, basically the Lictor and the Death Lictor. I really should grab both of those too. The BioVer, I should be getting that as well. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at the Norm Emissary. This model I am super looking forward to. So this is kind of the first bigger Tyranid model. I think he's gonna sit almost as tall as this giant does, as a Mega Gargant. I know that they said in the lore that he's supposed to be as big or bigger than a knight. They definitely did not do that. So when you hold him up against some of the knights from 40K, he does not quite tower over them. He's still very big and still very impressive for the Tyranids, because Tyranids didn't really have a big unit. So just getting a little touch-ups here while I have you guys looking at that. I'm gonna go back to the model in a minute. But yeah, he's not that big. The pictures made him look a lot bigger, but he's not that big. But I'm super excited about it. I know my nose is so clogged. Hold on, let me just get these off because the pressure is building in my head. But yeah, so he's decently sized. So like I said, they definitely. I don't know if they do any size comparisons on here. Oh yeah, they do. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that gives you kind of an idea. So, I mean, it's not a giant model. So I'm actually happy that they put a Space Marine next to it, because a lot of the other pictures that they were sharing for the reveal made him seem like he was a lot more towering. That's a lot more, in relation, right? So, he sort of, to me, if I'm seeing that correct... Oh, that's probably broken now. Oh, I just missed running it over. Oh, God. Wow. That's insane. It did not break a single part of it off. I actually have to paint those tonight. But yeah, what I was going to say was, if we took something like the Screaming Killer and we put him in relation to what they are saying on there, yeah, he's a little bit taller than the Screaming Killer, because that size comparison is about the same. So he's not a huge towering big unit. He's because even I thought he was a big unit. The way that they made the original thumbnails look, and the way they did the art and put him up against a couple of other models, I thought he was going to be a much bigger model. So I'm slightly bummed. But again, when you think of the price, which is $115, it's sort of accurate. He fits the price. Another thing on the docket is the Genestealers. I think they look a lot better. A little bit more dynamic. Probably would still would use probably a little bit of custom Elmo grease there to do some kit bashing, just to make them look cooler. I do like the quote unquote, like, I know a lot of people are saying like Call of Cthulhu looking heads. I think those are really cool. So like, I definitely might think about doing some of those. So that's a pretty cool, pretty much all of GW's pre-orders right now are all the Tyranid stuff. So that makes up a large chunk of their pre-orders. If we go to page 2 on their pre-orders, yeah, still more Tyranid stuff. Yeah, and the assimilator, so the 2 variant models you see there is because those kits can build too. So it's interesting. It's interesting. So that's what GW is doing right now. And if we go to new releases really quick, nothing really big there. I thought it was cool that they actually did a what is that? Devastators of the Imperial Planets. Oh, map. Oh, that's cool. We were talking about these guys. That's the ogres, right? Oh no, that's the beastmen. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't know they did a kill team in them. Oh, that's cool. Hands of... Yeah, they did a lot of kill team stuff. Warhammer. 3-year. Soul Blight. Gravelord. Oh, year 3. Okay. So those are the... If you do the plus, you can get one of those models. What's the Soul Blight one? That's a Vampire Lord. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a dope model. I like that. Actually, I like that model for the Warhammer Plus. So yeah, the way it works is if you sign up for the subscription, you get the model. They've done a model for every year. I haven't done Warhammer Plus yet or signed up for it. I guess I might want to. I always like, what the hell is this? Is this just like deaths and stuff? Oh, it is. It's just like additional stuff. That's interesting. Okay, I dig that. I dig the just like terrain stuff. Sorry that I don't know why it does that. I guess because it's sizing the window, so it makes the window smaller when I alternate. So that means that I definitely have to consider maybe a secondary display or something. I wonder if I can run an alternator. Oh, I probably could now because of the way that this computer is configured. Oh, I have to think about that. Okay. Sorry, having an internal conversation externally. And then we'll do... let's do Mantic. Let's see what they're up to, since we are painting one of their giants. Let me do... Yeah, let me undo Safari while I'm getting it up. I don't know what they're going to have to offer, but we're going to take a look. Ooh. Oh, I might be buying this. Alright, hold on. Let's get the Safari back up. Okay, so this... Oh, is this an Advent calendar? Heck to the hell to the yeah. Oh, let's get in here, baby. Is this an Advent calendar? Sold. Sold. I'm buying this. Oh my god, that's dope. Oh, I think I'm gonna get this. If it has Santa Claus, because if it has Santa Claus and Elf units, I've actually been looking for good Santa Claus and Elf models to do some mods. Let me just see here. 6 limited. Alright, so there's only 6 limited edition festive themed highly detailed Mantic resin models, 4 players, the barkeep and his bouncer. Oh, hell to the yeah, I'll paint these things for our Christmas stream. Oh, I'm doing it. That's $40 that I'm spending. I'm doing it. That is bought. That is hilarious.
Oh, there it is. There it is in all of its glory. The festive advent calendar game. Oh, hell to the yes. It's just yeah, the game tokens and dice needed to play Barroom Brawl one print festive edition. So they're using some of their terrain crate stuff. That's really fun. Definitely gonna order that. In fact, look at this. I'm doing it. It's in my cart. I added it in the cart, guys. It's in the cart. I'm definitely doing that. Oh, that looks so awesome. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right, let's tone down the craziness, shall we? So we had that. That's pretty cool. Ooh, who are you? What are you? Pick your side. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, rule changes in firefight. Okay, so firefights their other stuff. Ooh, how to take part in the Kings of War global campaign. I love that too. That they do global campaigns. I think that that's really cool for their like global play events. Twilight Kin. Okay. No. All right. Yeah. So I like that. So they redid their website, which is really cool. I like that force like it's so laid out so nicely. This is like so Emperors of Dust, which are essentially oh look at this. So these are all the different factions of Kings of War. I really love this. Yeah, this is awesome. So obviously you can see it's very easy to sub. I think. Oh, look at those spicy goblins. Spicy goblins. Spicy. All right. So where's the new stuff though? Let's go back. Is it really only the board game now live in Kickstarter, which is Worms? Like really? Latest news. All right. So this is the latest news. Okay. So not much going on there. I mean, there is stuff going on, but it's like a little bit more play focused, which is cool. Oh God! Why? Stop! I need to be up. I need to be up. Today I have been so filled with the spiciness that is allergies. My God. All right. So Mantic, it looks like so GW definitely had a big week, or is gonna have a big week because of all the Tyranid stuff. Um, everybody else, I'm definitely buying that Advent calendar. That Advent calendar is 100% happening. That looks awesome. I am down for that like nobody's business. See, I like that. I like that. I mean, like GW obviously also does like holiday stuff, but they always do like the Gabo or they do like some of that stuff. I like that. What I like about Mantic is that they do a lot of Kickstarter stuff as well, so it's always like a lot of fun when they're doing things or they're coming up with ideas because because they do Kickstarter, they do a variety of different things for different projects, both to fund and both to like get other uh, companies involved. I always think that there's like a little bit of a different product kind of thing there, so you can kind of see some really cool stuff that they emerge and kind of make happen, which I always thought was really cool about them. I like super duper love that about them. That's why they have licenses like the Hellboy game and like other stuff. Because there's just a lot of really cool things that they can do with those licenses, with those IPs. So, and they're not afraid to take on like lesser known IPs or like different IPs to make some really cool products. Oh, hey, look at that! Saved you. I almost had a huge problem, but I saved it. But yeah, I don't know if anybody out there also plays Kings of War. Yeah, I have to. That's one of the things on the channel. So we're gonna start sort of. It's kind of a twofold reason, but I'm still gonna keep it fresh. We're gonna do awesome, cool stuff, and I'm gonna do some custom stuff. But I think we're really gonna try to tackle my expanding backlog of painting. So we're gonna start to do a lot more of my older stuff. That includes my entire Forces of Nature Kings of War army. So we're gonna start doing some Kings of War stuff. You know, I think we're gonna just keep it loose, keep it light, keep it fun. Because as I said on another stream, which was not my finest, I'm not gonna lie, I felt really bad about that stream because just had a rough day, and I was a little bit more reflective than I think you guys really need me to be. So I do apologize for that. I think I say it a lot. I hate when, I don't want to say I hate, because I think it's important for anyone, who is, you know, even someone who's streaming or like is an online, you know, someone who makes a living from making content on a social media platform. I know a lot of people, if like somebody sort of shares that they're having a rough time or whatever, people might be quick to judge them and say, oh, well, how stressful can their life be? Like, they make money from staying at home and playing video games, or staying at home and painting and being creative. Like, all they're doing is standing in front of a camera, and like they make all this money, and they don't have to like go to a 9-to-5 job. Which, by the way, doing stuff like this, streaming, prepping, all the stuff that goes into it, it is more than, like, you guys are hanging out and we're obviously talking for maybe like a few hours, but there's a couple of hours of work, if not many other hours of work, to prep everything to go live and stream. You know, certain things like your equipment and things like that, if you're good at this, you'll get yourself to a point where you don't need to set all that up. But you know, like for me, like I have to prime the model. Sometimes I do a little bit of pre-painting. Maybe for some of my more complicated projects I might do that, but then there's also obviously like going online, researching stuff, all of those things. So, you know, it's not a walk in the park, a cup of tea. It's not a 2-minute thing that, like, you know, you can just go up there. Because the reality is, if I were to wait until the last minute and not do a lot of the prep and other things that I do, you guys would get a very different experience and product when it comes to the stream itself. So yeah, because I will tell you that when you try to wing streaming like 100%, you just kind of do it on the fly. You're just gonna create great content, because you guys don't want to come and see me like struggling to set up my paint environment and the models I'm gonna paint when you're choosing to spend time with us. You know, for a lot of you, and for myself included, if I'm watching a stream, it's probably the only few like hour or whatever I have for the day. So like, I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck doing other stuff. Like, I want to be able to get into the person's stream, watch them, like figure out what's going on, get like my inspiration, my tidbits, whatever, and then go do some other projects of mine. So yeah, I totally get. Yeah, there's a lot more prep work into it. I don't know. We had some giant folks, but like I said, I have limited hope for tonight's stream, in the sense that I'm not expecting a big audience. It just felt like doing a little bit of painting. So, but you know, it is a holiday weekend, so I figured we probably won't see too many. For at least if you're in the United States, we might not see as many folks as we normally would. But I'm just trying out different just want to kind of see what different times look like. So I am playing on the weekends. Just kind of see. I should have looked at what the community was doing before I went live so I could kind of see the numbers, but I bring this up on other streams as well, but if you are on our Discord, I would love it if you could share what you think might be a better time for us to stream. Can't promise we could be like super early if that's like what you guys tend to put, just because I have family, work, other stuff, so my dance card fills up relatively quickly, so I may or may not be able to come in at the time that you guys are asking for. But I'd love to hear what you think are some good answers. Because obviously, if everybody were to share, you could also whisper me on Twitch as well. If you don't want to necessarily go on our Discord, or if you don't have Discord. Because I can imagine, like I said, I don't know if I can really deliver too much earlier. But if all of a sudden everybody tells me a certain time is like rocking a little bit better, or you'd rather see the stream earlier on certain days, or maybe a lot of you respond and go, you know what, actually we'd love to see your stream on this day. Like, if enough people tell me that, I might change the day. I might change when we do it. My goal, this is Gilliman I'm using for my flesh tone, and with Skeleton Horde that I use for the nails. But I was going to say, I'll be changing our content calendar. I'm going to try to work on that tomorrow, actually, along with a couple of other things. Yeah, I have some really cool things that we have to get done, so we can change some things up, make some things make a little bit more sense. And then, like I've been telling everybody, on Fridays we're going to be switching on Fridays. So until we get a little bit more Patreon activity, which that is another project for this weekend, get some more stuff on the Patreon. Painting his feetsies. I should double check and see what is up. I'm going to guess that it's probably a notice that somebody else on that community went live. But yeah, I'm going to be doing an art-related stream. So we're going to do a comic book-related show. So that's where you guys will see me working. I'm going to show off some of my more indie stuff. Either projects that I can share on there, but also some of my independent work. So I'm going to start fully developing our ideas so we can get... you guys can see a little bit behind the curtain. And then we'll be starting to publish that stuff on Webtoons, which I'm excited about. I really want to get that going, so I can have a little bit more of a regimented schedule on there. So I'm not trying to ruin what we already did, but I noticed there was just a big unpainted area because I spent, so much time that other night really emphasizing a lot of the bustle structures. So I just want to kind of add to that, but at the same time wanted to make sure we got all that painted, because I'm just seeing some areas that, might be little misses, and then I have to fill in because, this whole model just has a ton of detail and a lot of straps and belts and other stuff. So I'm just making sure that all of that is represented well, and we got it just painted correctly. All right, I'm gonna move all of this out of my way because he's got a big old club, and he's going to take my Tyranids out if I'm not careful, so. But yeah, like all of this, like, there's all, like, skin tone in between these straps, which, again, amazingly cool sculpt. So I'm not angry at all that I have to paint all this, because it just shows that quality that I talk a lot about with Mantic. Now I'm doing the Guilliman, light Guilliman first, because that Guilliman, if I were to, you know, if I go over anything else, it should cover it up pretty well. So like if I do a different color for all the straps, it should cover up nicely, because Guilliman goes on. It dries pretty light unless you really pull it hard. Yeah, I'm going to try to go for a little bit of time, because I know we keep doing short streams, and I know for a fact that a lot of you guys on Twitch want to see us do longer streams. You'd prefer being with us for a longer period of time. But this is part of why I'm going to work on the schedule. So A, I can be on at times that make more sense, and where I can start that early, but also I want to start to plan out the streams a little bit better, so you guys know exactly what we're painting, so you can be a little bit more tuned into it. Everybody's always so quiet. I love it, though. I take the quietness as the fact that most people are probably painting, which I always find amazing. I love it. I'm surprised on how many people we have. Okay. What do we got? What do we got? I really have to start. I think I'm going to purchase Baldur's Gate 2 this weekend. I was thinking about it. But I have so many cool ideas coming up the pike, so I say this a lot to everybody, but if you find what we do interesting and you haven't yet followed us, please consider doing that. You know, really check out and follow the channel, because there's so much cool stuff that I'm planning on doing, and I don't want you guys to miss anything. So definitely don't hesitate to I'm just doing a little bit of touch-ups there. I don't want to ruin a lot of the wash that I did, but I'm just trying to bring out a little bit of detail. I love this crimson that I used, because it looks, you know, so crazy on him. I like that he's got like a little bit of the punk treatment hair. I'm just looking to see if everything is painted correctly, and you know, I think I said this. I think I said this when we were painting it before. You know, like when you use contrast paints on something that's not a GW model, sometimes you get some variation, because you know, that paint, it's trying to get into other crevices that it's like not really designed to. But I say it all the time with Mantic, their models are so gorgeous, especially when they do monsters. Monsters or creatures are always really good. I mean, they do people really well, and they do their factions really well. So I don't want to like downplay their models in that way, but I just feel like when it comes to their monsters or creature, like they just have amazing sculptors over there that just do unbelievable stuff. And I always like to give a shout out to we know Kyle over there. Kyle was that's why I want to really get that Forces of Nature done. But Kyle was so nice to send us a few different things to review over the years, which was really nice of them over there. So that's another thing I love. I say it a lot about Mantic. I love that they're I love that they are really into supporting, you know, content creators, streamers. You know, they're big on loving people who are, you know, utilizing their product, utilizing their models, and are just having like a super good time. You know, using and having fun with Mantic stuff. And I also love that, you know, they really know their market really well. That's another thing. So I love that they, you know, I've said it a couple of times, not to take away them as a company, but they definitely made it as part of their plan to encourage people to like buy their models to proxy. You know, whether it's campaign models for a RPG campaign you're running, or you know, doing having them sub in for like Age of Sigmar stuff, or have it sub in for their you know, futuristic sci-fi world, so like 40k stuff. So you can have some variety, you know, because people ever think about doing that, but you can grab, you know, other models and maybe make them captains for a 40k army, or if you want to do a more custom kill team, you know, you can be grabbing some of these models and incorporating them, which is really cool. What do I want to do? I feel like that's like a leather belt. I don't know. I'm going to use the Space Wolf Gray on the belt just to give it some variation. And see what that looks like. Or is it just wrappings? I mean, let me see. Oh, that kind of looks good. I like the wrappings like that, because we added a lot of other color, so I'm like, probably should be a little bit more muted. So that looks like a gray sash, which I'm not totally hating that. To think of what I'm going to do with some of the hair elements. I like what we did for the top, but maybe we'll make him have like different pelts for the other ones. I foresee me having to go through and maybe touch up some of this, but let's just see how we do. Like I said, totally expected it to be a slower night tonight, because it's the holiday. So I can imagine, you know, you guys are probably, some people may be away. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, watch, I'm going to say there are no conventions on this weekend, but there probably is. It would make sense for certain conventions maybe to pick this weekend, especially if it's like a place where people are traveling to. That would make a ton of sense. But I get it. do get it. I'm being very careful what I paint because I see a lot of other details here, so I might choose to do those. That's kind of why I wanted the Space Wolf Gray, because I figured if I had that as a backdrop and then I started to pull out some of these small details, it would help to ground all that. But as I say, while we're on the subject of the holiday, anybody have any cool plans this weekend? Yeah, I think this will work out just fine. I also have to figure out what I want to do for like his natural. I guess his natural hair would be the same as his hair color. Maybe we could do those as like a more muted tone versus like the same. Oh man, Gigante. We're almost gonna be done with the Sons of Behemoth army. That's crazy for me to think of that, but I have to do like a round of touch-ups on everything. But I'm mesmerized that I may be done soon. Obviously, I have to push some highlights and shadowing on this guy, but you know, I've been doing some, but not all of it. This is such a great brush. These Nico Pro brushes, I really do like them. They have nice tips. They have nice grip on them. I'm not disappointed with them at all. They work really well. They're really good for the contrast too, because you can push the pool a little bit more with them, which I like. So I like that. Especially if you have like little areas like what I'm doing now, you can kind of grab from a pool. They're just really, really easy and light. They glide very well. It's really starting to come together. Yeah, guys, I might need to even make it the half hour. That's crazy. I'm like beat exhausted. I was out for most of today. That's part of why. But I think maybe we'll do some. do that. Sorry, guys. I'm just like thinking out loud of what I have to do on this model. Oh, dun dun dun. It was very intense. Kind of feel like I want that. I want this pelt to have a little bit. Oh, there's a shield in there. Didn't even see that. Oh, geez. I'm like definitely gonna hit him. So I might call it quits. I'm gonna try to go for another half hour. I know I said we were gonna paint Tyranids and Giants, but I'm waning a little bit. Oh, is that a shield? I didn't even see that, dude. That's crazy. Oh, and I did it again. All right. He's got shields for days. Oh, that's his leg. All right. I just realized that too. Kill him. I'm like sitting there going like, oh, that's... Oh, man. Jesus Christ, there's all this skid in here. It was all supposed to be skid. Ah, that sucks because that's a joint. Okay. I may have to do some green stuff patchwork there. So I'll show you guys what I'm going to do. Because this... wait. Before I leap... Is that natural hair, or is that... No, I think that is natural hair. Well, if I did it on his head... I'm going to do the same crimson red. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this to really deeply saturate it. So it's not as bright, but it should match his other hair color, but it could be like faded a little bit or older. Because like, you know, most of the time when you have hair on your body, it's the same color as the hair on your head, kind of, but it might be faded because it gets hit by sun, you know, other stuff. So I'm just going to... The reason I thought about it for a minute was because I wasn't sure if this is a pelt, but it isn't. So I will, in fact... Now, this will be interesting because what this will also do is it'll make me, which is unfortunate, but it may make me have to do some of that inside of the arm. But I'm not hating that idea. It also brings a little color to this area, so again, I'm not like hating what I have to do. It just might make certain aspects of what I paint a little bit more challenging, but not too much more. Yeah, it's good because it brings that color down, and then you have a little bit more color kind of overall in the model, so I'm down for that. Ah. Let's see if I can undo that. Pretty much if you have a good solid, you get it to it quicker, you can do it. So like this, that feels like, I guess it is still his natural fur or natural hair. The tree trunk I want to do something fun with. Not only do I want to make it gnarly looking with a little bit of like additional texture and stuff, which I think I know one thing I'm going to do to it, but I also want to put tufts on it as if stuff's growing, like moss is growing on it. Again, I find these little touches, especially on a big model like this, are like super helpful. Man, I am waning fast tonight. I kind of want to do an orange on the bottom, but I'm gonna shift some of this with another color. I want to try something. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh my god. It really is kicking my butt today. Nice, nice, nice. I love it, I love it, I love it. I love it. Right. Doing so good. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm so happy that I'm getting this giant painted because he could be used in so many other contexts too. I'm like super happy because I'm even gonna like because a lot of these models too. I mean, we keep talking about this Marvel Crisis Protocol custom campaign. But we're gonna do an RPG centric campaign like that, so I may use some of these models in that. So I'm really happy. That this is turning out the way it is. All right, cool. Yeah, so far so good. I really do like this orange choice. I'm gonna do a little bit more to it so that it looks a little bit more like a faded pelt. So maybe a this is perfect. This is so good. So good. So good, so good. I love it. I again, like many models I paint, you know, they start out sometimes a little rough, but if you just keep working at it, just keep layering, that's the key, you know. So I tell this to all my painting students, like, when you're using acrylic, whether you're talking about a canvas or whether you're talking about a model, it's all the same principles. But if you're using, let's say, a canvas, it's all about layering and it's all about planning. You know, paint smart, paint like you have to think about how you're painting, what you're painting, like layer your colors, all that stuff. Specifically with the contrast paints, the secret there is going to always be the light to dark method. But we're going to get all those straps and everything done. But so far, like, this is just coming along really, really nicely. And he definitely fits within the Gargan army. Like, he definitely is going to be, like, very much a Sons of Behemoth edition. And then I think I said this in a previous video, but he's going to duel as I do want to eventually, once I get a little bit more entrenched in Kings of War stuff, I do want to get into potentially goblins, and the giant is actually part of their army, their units. So just trying to find where that. Oh, does it not go the whole foot? Oh, that would be crazy. Oh, it probably doesn't. I'm trying to find the texturing for the hair. It's very, very faint, but I think I'm getting it. Because I would prefer to find to paint it correctly, because I don't want to be too sloppy, so it goes on those bands, because the red is a lot harder to cover up, but it's a little tricky because you have what's tricky on this whole thing is that I'm trying to discern, is it like pelt or hair shoved in where the blocks are. But for mine, I'm going to paint it as if it is like hair on the body. So I'm going to keep going in that general direction. But yeah, I think I have a good solid like 20 more minutes, and then I gotta crash. But I promise we'll do a longer stream tomorrow, because I'll have more time, and maybe we'll work on since I did primarily a fantasy model in this stream, maybe we'll do some more custom orc stuff. And if everything goes well, I'll get the Terminators primed, and then we can start to look at those as well as we wrap up some of the other army. I'll get the rest of them primed. Yeah, it's just, I don't know why. The giant, like, I just want to finish him. I'm getting really into it. I really love the way that he's looking. He's got a cool look to him. In general, like, even when it was the pandemic, and that's because that's when they first released think that's when he was released during the pandemic. I was so excited for this model. So for a multitude of reasons, but I mean the biggest reason that I was like super stoked for this model, a lot of that came down to just the massive scale of him. And then once I saw that they were coming out with him, I was like, he is part of what originally got me going and thinking of, using him as as one of the Mega Gargants, so that my Mega Gargants would have a little bit of variation. And then that's what stemmed the whole idea and start of cool, like we could do the Mega Gargants like this, and then I'm like, oh, it's the second Mega Gargant, all right, cool. And then I'm like, oh, what if there were like giants from all these different places? And I was like, ooh. Now, reality also of why I did this is cost effect, which is part of it. It is a lot cheaper to get this giant than a second GW kit. Because in order to make a second Gargant, you would have to buy two of the Mega Gargant kit. And I think that's a little crazy, but GW made it that way, which I get it. It's, the whole multi-build model idea, it does help the bottom line for them. Because then they're printing a lot less plastic to give you the bits you need to make whatever you're looking to make. So I get that, because then if you did it the other way, they'd have to carry multiple SKUs of the same model, essentially. Or I guess in that case, they would do less. They would print less of each model, but then they'd have to come up with different sprues for every model. Whereas this way, obviously they can put, they can put all of the variation on one sprue, and then they're just putting it in the box, and then you are, you're deciding if you want to build that model or not. So I get it. But then, of course, if you compare that to the internet, like, for instance, going on Etsy or, obviously, well, the people who win the biggest are, I was going to say, anyone that has a 3D printer, because they used to buy STL files. Then you just print them, and obviously you will win on cost every time because it's so much cheaper to do that. So, I'm going to do some Skeleton Horde to do some of the stitching on his clothing. So I started doing this, which has worked out very, very well for two reasons. One, it works out really well because you get the seam in, but now I don't know if this will work really well for a non-GW model, because I'm not really getting the contrast to catch on the stitches because they're bigger stitches. So I don't know if this will work the same way. It worked, like I said, it worked really well on the GW models, but I found I just had to go over them, and then bang, the whole like seam got nicer. So that's what I did for the GW ones. I just like essentially did a wash. I just took the skeleton horde and just like went over it, and it looked pretty amazing because you get a nice deep color in the channel, and then you'll get like the color hitting those other areas, and it looked pretty decent. No. I want to do this. And I want this brush. But yeah, so. Wow, it's so quiet. But that's okay. Like I said, I did not expect tonight to be a very chatty room. You guys are doing exactly what I expected everybody who is in the chat tonight to do, which is just kind of chill and be there and just be a little on the quiet side. But yeah, I think I may call it after an hour. Reminder too, please check out our YouTube channel, because we've been multi-streaming all this stuff, so it's actually on our YouTube channel as well. We're gonna start to have variety, other content on the YouTube channel. I'm just in the process of getting a few things settled, and we'll start doing, some other things on there. One of the surprises won't happen until Comic-Con October, so next month, if everything's looking good. But we'll see. I'm super excited about it. But we'll see. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of new things on the horizon. I think I'm gonna have to go. I might have to go the route of null oil for this, because I don't think it's gonna work as well with the color. Seems to be rolling a little bit off of it, so I think null oil is gonna be. Oh, I need more of that yellow. There's so much more detail for me to do on here. Yeah, man. I'm like crashing hard. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason for the harsh crash is, but I mean, I guess I got up early today. I also was like a little on the stress side, so maybe stress is a funny thing. It can imagine out there. There's got to be so many people that are having, I say stress a lot, and I should probably get better at maybe modulating that, because I could only imagine there's some other people out there. I'm sure you guys are dealing with, everyone's dealing with these days. There's so much more, stress and things going on. So I can only imagine, what most people are going through. So I always say stress, but there's probably people out there that's going through crazier, wilder stuff than me. I think we all have a tendency to do that sometimes, where we're like, oh, I'm dealing with a ton of stress, and like, there's like 5 other people, maybe even friends of yours, that are like, you might say that to them and they'll be like, really? Well, did you know that, like, this is what my life's like? And then you feel kind of bad that you kind of went that road. But I always say that, with that stuff, like, I say it all the time, but like, you never know, because like, everyone is going through stuff that you may not be aware of. So like, I always say, know your audience, try to figure it out, be cautious. Cool. So we got a lot more done on the Giant. I'm liking our color choices. We started to get some of the details going. This is going to be a lot of just detail, because, as we've talked about before, the Mega Gargant, any Gargant or larger Giant that's on the table, like, these are going to be your centerpieces, potentially, or maybe your leaders of your army. So you want to put the time in to really get a good, solid paint job on this guy. But I'm loving what we got so far. It looking good. We're going to punch up some more. But definitely looks like a towering, hunking, just angry, ready to get you kind of Giant. So I'm happy with that. Music is building. The Giant is coming. The Giant is here. I kind of want to, like, with this music, I want to be like, is it funny? I want to, like, play with my toys. I want to be like, the Giant is here. Here, we'll go. Here, we'll do an old 80s cartoon. Stand back, giant foe. Oh my god. That's insane. I mean, this is one of the He-Man models, but damn, he's small in comparison to this guy. Well, like, how big... Here, let's see. How big is the Space Marine compared to this Giant? El Gigante. Run, fools, run. Flee, you fools. To quote Gandalf the Great. Here, look. We'll do Clash of the Worlds. We'll do the Lion. Oh, is this like broken? No, it's not. We'll do Lion versus Mega Gargant. Jesus, the size comparisons are insane. They really are. Here, let's do. I have to finish him. Let's do Aragorn. Not Aragorn. Thorin Oakenshield. There's a Middle Earth dwarf in comparison. It's crazy. Speaking of dwarves, there's a dwarf that I need to do, which is one of my favorite lore characters from AOS. Maybe we'll paint him at some point. Well, not tomorrow, but because we did fantasy stuff tonight. But he's the guy who he got stuck in the land of Gur, which is all monsters, and he just like stayed there or was lost. but it essentially fought all the monsters and killed killed a ton of things and like survived. And he's a dwarven fire slayer dwarf. So very, very cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to leave it here for this. We did an hour and a half. I wanted to try to go longer, but I'm fading. I can feel it. We did a little review, talked about some new stuff, did some painting. So we kind of did talk about 40K stuff. We just didn't paint any 40K stuff. So maybe we'll flip it the other way tomorrow, where we'll do a little bit more. We'll do a little bit more on the 40K side, and we'll take a break from the Giant. So thank you all for watching. As always, a reminder, we are on the Discord live if you're interested, and we're going to play more. And actually, I don't know if I'm going to do Starfield or Baldur's Gate. I want to hear from others. Like, is Starfield really good, or should we play it? Should we not play it? You know, I don't know. What do you guys think out there in TV land? Let me know. And if you like what you saw, consider following the channel, signing up for notifications. We're a large community. We're staying strong. I want to continue to grow. We're still working on being affiliated. I know that sounds crazy. I've been streaming for a while. We were doing real good, and I don't know. And then we kind of tanked a little bit, and then I'm hoping to come on back with a vengeance. So if you could help us support that by coming and see us live, I'm going to work on the schedule. We're going to change some things around, maybe start a little bit earlier. I'm going to try to play around with times, see what shakes the tree, what makes the most sense. All right, well, take care, everybody. I'll see you at the next video. And also check out the About page. There's tons of social links and other stuff, other ways to monetarily support the channel, and we'll be updating our Patreon and such